hop off the press. Welcome to the Hop Stuff News, hop off the press. This is live in front of an audience of one. So Alex, our ops manager for the bars, is in the corner there just admiring my work. So he wants to hear the big news delivered in a big way. We've got big news from the new brewery. Fun facts on the brewery: we've 23,000 square foot, big feat. We've got £2 million invested, so that came from the crowdfunding and most importantly from the hard work in the bars and the sales team making some money. We've got 10 FVs over there, capable of doing 194 of our kegs each brew, and we've got a canning line, we've got a kegging line, and we've got everything set up for future. So the future is bright. Hop off the press. Now we're going to go over to G in the new brew house. She's going to show us what's going on over there. Over to you, G.
So, welcome to Hop Stuff Brewery, and I'm going to give you a run through our process. And this is where we're going to start. So this is the grain, and these are our silos. We've got 25 to 27 ton capacity in these bad boys, which means that we could do about 22 brews. We use 1.2 tons per brew. This is the little window into our malt. As you can see, it hasn't been milled, and it's a type of malt that's called Venture malt, which we get from Munton. So we've got a really good deal going with them. They actually paid for part of this, which is fantastic. So it's all up and running. So this is the other side of those conveyors. As you can see, go running along here. These will feed our 4-row mill, which stops right here. So this is our silo malt, and these are our bag malt. It's a very noisy little process, but actually it's a wonderful mill. You get your hard crush, and then you get your fine crush. We've actually just tweaked that a few times for the first brews, and now we're getting almost a 90% extract, which is you'll basically come over here, you'll set your weights. You'll start collecting from your silos, and then you'll add and top up anything from your hand tip. So when we do the lager, it's 1.2 tons of lager malt, and that's basically 36 bags that we have to handball, lob in here, and get it grinded up. Over here we've got our weigher, so all the malt from next door goes in through the top, and this is where we actually weigh the amount of grist that we have in the brew house. So this holds about 2 tons, just there or thereabouts, and that gets conveyed both ways. So it goes filled up and then go back out, and then up through there, and then that's the screw belt all the way into our mash tun, into our brew house. Watch the new beers coming out. We've got Dippo, we've got the new revamped American Pale Ale, and we've got an oatmeal stout on its way. So check them out. And obviously the efficiency of the 4-hour session, the Renegade, and the Pilsner is now shot up, and the quality is fantastic coming out of these. Yeah, so this is our new 40-barrel brewing facility, state-of-the-art. It's a semi-automatic brew system over here. Nice and shiny, we're all very happy with it. This is a 4-vessel system with a whirlpool added. So you're talking about your traditional American or European brewing vessels. We have a single infusion mash tun. We then have a lauter tun for extraction of fermentable sugars, and then we've got a copper to boil it up, and a specially designated whirlpool for hop extraction of volatile oil. So today's a really good chance to actually see the vessels because we're just cleaning them, so they'll be nice and empty. This is our first vessel where the malt meets, so this is where we're going to mix it with our RO filtered water, and we'll try and get it to the consistency where the enzymes are most active, and that all gets pumped into here. So like I said, we've got about 1.2 tons of malt going in here, mixing it with about 3,000 or 4,000 liters of water, and then we've got our mash paddles. So those are our mash paddles, and and we get a very good mix. Unfortunately, there's not enough grain in there to give you a proper idea, but at least you can use your imagination. So once it's finished with this, it's going to be about 30 minutes for all of the starch to be converted into fermentable sugars. We transfer all of that into this vessel here. So this is called our lauter tun. So the Europeans call it lautering, we call it sparging. What happens is basically all the grains and the good stuff gets transferred into here. We then squirt some nice fresh water on top and collect everything out the bottom. All of the spent grains go through that little door, and we get them collected for biomass fuel or for farmers, and there's other applications which the spent grains can be used for. Vessels I'm going to do in one. This is your copper kettle. It is what it is. It's a giant kettle which boils up our wort, and this is where we add our hops, and isomerization happens. So isomerization is the becoming of bitterness from our hop oils. So that gets done at 100 degrees over a period of time. So we've got different additions at different times going in here, and then finally we've got the whirlpool. So that's cooled down and then mixed with a bucket load of and this is where we put the major amount of hops. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing, we're trying to get the most aroma and best flavor out of them. So that's where we add our hops purely for that purpose. It's just to extract the volatile oils and get the most out of our beers. Okay, so once it's cooled down, we can transfer it into the island of fermentation vessels. So this is the island of fermentation vessels, and this is where the magic happens. So over in the brew house, we're just making a nice soup for our yeast to actually eat and produce the good stuff, which is the alcohol and a little bit of CO2, which you can actually see from this little cup. So that bubbling is the CO2 that's being produced from fermentation, and as you can see, it's going well. So in this tank we've got our very first brew, which we did on Tuesday last week, and over here we've got our second brew. So we did a stepped infusion mash, which is a really cool thing, because over at our old site we just have a single mash tun and hopper, whereas over here we've got a lauter tun. So we can actually step the temperatures that we want to get the best profile for the beer. And actually Pilsners, which is like the unfiltered Pilsner that we do, really benefits from that. So actually we've had a few samples of this beer, and we actually think that new process has really given the edge to that beer, which it didn't have before. So we're really chuffed with the way that we can now produce lagers, and it just means that we can actually do quite faithfully a lot of German lagers, a lot of British or even American lagers. So that's a massive plus for us. So these are the CCTs, basically called cold conditioning tanks, and this is where we actually run, once it's fermented, into these vessels, and this is the last process before packaging. So in here all we're doing is making sure that the beer that we fermented is clear enough for us to package. We don't actually filter any of our beers, and we don't add any chemicals that we don't need to. So this is all achieved through temperature control. So as long as we can chill our beer in the fermenter right down to where we need it, the yeast will drop out and we'll just be able to collect some nice clear beer from it, which will go into these, and then we have to just pump a little bit of CO2 to get it up to the point where it's actually good for packaging. It's an American style canning line, and we can actually do quite a bit of cans through this. I guess it depends more on how quickly you can actually box it than how quickly you can fill it. So the bottom of those tanks will be hooked up to a manifold, and that manifold will be hooked up to all of these beer lines. Now these beer lines do these heads, and so a can will come out will come first into this cage where the cans are depalletized, driven up through this belt. It comes back down here where an acid is just squirted into the cans. That makes sure that there's nothing bad in the can that we don't want. It then gets dried, pushed down through here, and this conveyor will single file all the cans into the filler, and it can do 12 cans in a few seconds. So once they come out of here, this is filled with lids. The lids pop on them, and it's driven through to the crimper. So the crimper is literally a set of 3 cogs. The cans will come down, the lids will then get crimped, and after they get thrown over here, we get a quick rinse, a blast of air where they get dried, and then someone will just be sat here stacking them up and palletizing them. And that's a good one. So that's grain to can in a nutshell.
Good. Hop off the press. Sales side of things, we've got really good conversations going on with Tesco, which could be probably the biggest thing to happen to us this year if it comes off. We've got great interest in a company over in Jersey, which is unexplored for us. We could help them out. They're opening a bottle shop and a bar, but they might need us to be their guys to get them London and UK craft beer over, which we're more than capable of doing. And then we could take a lead with some of their events, which are both music and craft beer focused, a few thousand people at each one. So that sounds great, and they came to us. So obviously whatever we're all doing is working. Then we've got some great collaboration stuff coming up. Sales team's been out there speaking to some big footers pubs. Urban Leisure Group are on board. We've got Bird Beer coming, which has been tested, and the Arbitrager are doing a bespoke beer. They're going to come over to a brew day with G and the team on the 23rd of July. So say hello to them if you're around. On the marketing side, we've got some big stuff cooking. Probably the biggest is the rebrand of our cans and our kegs coming live. So we're going to cut to some images of them. And we're back. We're back in the room. We've got the DDH, which is out and about. We've got launches happening at the tap rooms, and we've got launches happening across the trade. So get out there and get drinking it. Tell your friends. Follow us on the social. See where it's at. We've got Imbibe coming up on Monday, Tuesday next week, which is probably the biggest trade event in the UK. So sales guys and myself will be down there, whoring ourselves out to anyone that will pay attention. We're going to have the legs out. We're going to have the guns out and the new T-shirt. It's going to be pretty sweet. We've got the Royal Greenwich get together over the weekend as well, which sounds too fancy for me to get involved, probably why I wasn't invited. And then we've got the Tri-Tag Rugby event, so we're going to have 1,000+ rugby fans drinking our beer, becoming fans, making dreams come true. Weekender news, so the investor event, we've got 455 people confirmed already. We can only take 800, so we're going to give them another week, and we're going to open it up to the public and the fans and stuff like that. So again, tell your friends, share it on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll pack that out. It'll be a great day. Now we've got the craft beer feast the next day. We've got 16 breweries already lined up for that, so not much more to be done on that side. It's all about planning the actual day, where we're going to pack all these thirsty people in, and how we're going to do it without the tap room getting absolutely crippled again. But most likely it's going to happen, so I apologise in advance for that. But that is the hop off the press section done. This has been my pleasure. Get back to work.